Hello, I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Caroline, and we're interior designers. More and more people are asking us about what we do and how we do it.
Which brings us to our new design adventure, the Design Duet. Join us as we discuss the ins and outs and the ups and downs of interior design.
Hi, Chrissy.
Hi, Kaz.
Today we're going to do our podcast on trends we've noticed post-COVID. Previously, we would have lived in houses that had a series of rooms off the central corridor and poor lighting, pokey little areas. Yeah, so now we're just talking about how we live and what's different, what's on trend, and, open planned areas and, areas that we love and enjoy and use a lot more of.
You can definitely say goodbye to traditional layouts. It's all about open plan living, and I think that is the biggest trend of today in our homes, even in offices, and also in apartment living.
Which in itself is more of a trend, with more and more people living in smaller spaces with a variety of reasons, which we'll expand on as we go along.
We cannot overlook the impact of the pandemic and what effect it had on the way we lived and live, especially Melburnians, as we were the hardest hit. The pandemic kind of gave us a disconnected life. We all kind of just sheltered in our homes. We couldn't go more than 5 kilometres. It really changed our whole focus, our feeling of wellness, and security. And
so true.
It's played a massive factor in trends.
It sure has. And we've found this with what we do now. A lot of people talk about what happened in COVID and talk about what they experienced in COVID. And, a lot of people coming to us now saying, I'm so over my house for these reasons. I looked at those 4 walls for, 2 years of my life and, I had these areas for 2 years of my life and just want to change. I want something new, want something different, exciting.
Different colours.
Absolutely. Colours has been a really big thing I've found with trends. I feel like I've noticed with a lot of our work, it's been people talking more about colour, whereas before I really felt that we had to introduce colour to people almost.
Yes. Yeah. I think we'll talk more about that as we go along, but I think we sort of need to start talking about just the different ways COVID affected room space.
We found a lot of people were saying to us that they had to multitask in areas. Would you agree, Chrissy?
Definitely, and they noticed a lot of wasted spaces in their houses, which now they want to utilise in this new post-COVID world.
It could be a TV area. It could be where you go and do your Zooms.
Yes.
It could be an area that's just, set up for, like, as you say, a wellness space.
Yeah, a rest area, definitely. And might be several family members or office workers using the one area, or there might just be one solo person in there. It's an everything space.
It is.
Now, that's what I've noticed.
Absolutely.
I think also people are considering their well-being when they're perhaps getting designers in. They're focusing on now, a feeling of perhaps comfort and also, as I said before, disconnection. They want to get more balance. They want to connect more to their spaces for that feeling of wellness.
Yes.
That's what I've noticed.
Yes, and I think also people going back to work now.
Yes.
Even if it is part-time, part-time work, I'm not saying a full-time job, but part-time at home, part-time at their…
So maybe 3 days in the office and 2 days at home.
Exactly. So you're still accommodating for that, in your home. And I'm sure you find this, especially with a busy household that you've got, you want that space where you can go and actually, relax. Downtime. And you might have someone in the next room on a Zoom.
Yeah.
And then you might have someone in the next room doing their gym routine.
Yeah, that's right.
You might have someone in the next room playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
So, it's a…
Those days are gone.
Oh, are they? Oh, I'm pleased to hear it. It isn't gone in my house
Oh,
as yet.
dear. Yeah.
So,
but that's very true that all rooms need to be sort of multi-purpose, and you're catering for the private needs that you have at times, and also then the communal needs that you have where you come together, and that would be the open plan living.
Yeah, and why do you think we prefer this open plan living, Chrissy?
Well, I just think basically open plan allows you to be together.
Yeah.
It allows you to join in to everything that's going on in those areas where previously the kitchen might be in a completely different room. You know, think about your mother, and when I say your mother, grandma generally was, you know, even 20, 30 years ago, you'd have your dinner in the dining room, then your mother or the designated dishwasher would go into the other room, do the dishes, and that person missed out on everything that was going on at the dinner table or in the lounge room. I think open plans just allowed a broader spectrum of communal living.
Yeah, and people being together,
That's
togetherness.
right. Togetherness.
And, you know, definitely with COVID, you know, we did have a lot of time of togetherness.
Oh, we sure did.
But now it's now, you know, bringing it back to family and inviting, you know, friends
bringing back
over.
the balance.
Bringing back the balance. I agree with you.
Why do we prefer open plan living?
I think we prefer open plan living because it's easy.
It's more practical, isn't it?
It's more practical, and it's again, you know, as we're saying, you know, togetherness.
Yes, definitely.
Like you're saying, you know, with your grandma, you know, in the kitchen, it's not like that. It's like, you know, someone's cooking, someone's cleaning, you know, but it's everybody together. It's not actually just that one person, like you're saying,
yes.
a designated person. It's all about, you know, people cooking together.
That's right.
People cleaning together, you know, people sitting at the dining table together or sitting on the sofas together.
Watching TV together, or whatever you do in your lounge room, perhaps playing a game.
I agree with you.
Our climate plays a very big part too, because we're so blessed here in Australia to have incredible weather and very little pollution compared to other countries, that we have integrated our outdoor and indoor. We try and incorporate as much natural light as possible into our homes for well-being and closeness to nature, especially in our communal living areas. And as we said before, it's more practical.
I agree with you. Waste not, want not.
Sustainability.
Absolutely. So talking about that, although it's not a trend, it's absolutely something that we are geared to think about a lot more now.
Yes, you just have to. You just have to think about it. It's important for our world.
And people are absolutely looking at that entire picture.
That's right.
Less waste in materials and a big focus on reducing the footprint
of buildings. Yeah, definitely. And thank God that people are consciously, and businesses are consciously thinking about this now. It's a hard one though, isn't it? Because when you think sustainability, what does that actually mean? And recently we went to a green talk, and what it means is durability. So just appliances lasting longer before they go into landfill. Manufacturing, where is your furniture being manufactured? How did they find that material? It's all of that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, you know, where did it come from, and, you know, and how did they get it?
That's right.
How, you know, how many trees were taken down to get the end result for the timber veneer or for, you know, the piece of furniture that we're going to make, and what they do with the leftovers, with the
wastage.
Wastage, yeah. So, and perhaps turning them into other bits and pieces that they can use again.
That's right, and reusing the water. A lot of manufacturers use a lot of water, so recycling the water for something else. It's all of those natural features which are sustainability, really, aren't they? That's what it is, which I must say up until recently I didn't really understand really where we were going with that. But it's clear now that I think many manufacturers now are thinking about all of those things.
And I also think a lot of interior designers and a lot of architects and builders are thinking that way as well.
Well, you think about the veneers. We use a lot of veneers in our finishes, don't we, for kitchen cabinets, for instance, or laundry cabinets. I sort of didn't really understand that they don't often use the whole tree to make the veneers when they're slicing the sheets, but there are manufacturers out there now that do. They actually plant the trees and they use the whole tree and then they replant trees. So it's things like that that make sustainability possible.
Yeah. Another thing we thought we'd talk about today is the reasons why people are living in, large homes, but also, for example, your children are moving out of home and why they're choosing to live in smaller places, for example, apartment living.
Well, it's a lot more prevalent now, isn't it?
It sure is. And why, do you think, Chrissy?
Well, I think there are pros and cons to it. Pros, it's more affordable, isn't it? I mean, the cost of living is just astronomical now. It's just getting out of control, especially for younger people who are just starting their careers. It's really scary out there. So it's more affordable. There's less footprint. Smaller open plan generally comes with a balcony. So you've sort of got open plan living still, but on a much smaller scale. Less maintenance, plenty of amenities. For instance, my eldest son and his partner live in a very nice apartment in a city. They have upstairs on the roof, they have an alfresco area that's communal, barbecues, seating. There's undercover areas, there's open areas with plants and trees. They have full use of the gymnasium, which has the best equipment, and they have an indoor pool.
Wow.
So that's a pretty big pro, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely.
Also, you can live in your desired suburb. So he loves it because he works in the city. So he lives close to the office. He can easily jump on a tram, a bus, so there's good transport, or he can walk and get there in 10 minutes. So it's a desired suburb for him and a lot of other people.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it? And also in talking about that, less footprint, but it's about, having to buy one sofa, having to buy one armchair, having to buy one dining table, one chair.
Well, hopefully 2 chairs.
Yeah, exactly. But also not just having the ability to let that be landfill. So
that's right,
maybe
less waste,
buy once, buy well, all of that. Hopefully that comes into that bigger picture as well.
What about the cons, Caroline?
Well, for the cons, I'd probably say to you, living in a small space, but in saying that, I know that a lot of people who live in small spaces say it's fantastic because I'm out all the time anyway.
Yeah, or they're upstairs on the rooftop.
Exactly. And so your, son would say that that's what he's doing. Like that's his entertainment space, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But also they're out and about a lot more, and, you can still work from home, but you can also work from home in your space. But he could actually work in that space on the top of the building as well.
Yeah, he could.
So it's awesome for that. Less privacy though. That's what probably is a big thing. But again, I've noticed a lot of people working, in cafes. Like they go and have their lunch and they're still working, or they're on a Zoom eating their lunch. Or
well, he has a cafe in the bottom of his building.
Oh,
and one next to it.
Well, another apartment that we did, and we found this really interesting as well. So instead of having those sort of entertaining areas upstairs, we on the ground level, you entered the apartment block, and it was one of 8, and they bought into the apartments, and with that, they actually got a office space on the entry level of the apartment, and in there was also a bar. There was also a conference room, and there was also a area where they could actually bring clients into, entertain, or if they wanted to take a area like the boardroom, they would just book that in.
Yeah,
and so
it's very enticing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
For apartment living.
Absolutely.
But hang on, there's more noise.
Yeah, true. That's true.
And too bad if you want to change your furniture and you live on the 20th floor.
That goes over the balcony. Yeah. That's with the crane. Yes, or otherwise your mates all in the apartment actually with some ropes pulling the ropes up.
Yes.
And another probably down to that is body corporate.
The fees.
And having to be part of body corporate if you are an owner. But, if you're renting, it's all about, you could be kicked out at any time.
True. So moving on from apartments, what about offices of today? What are the trends in offices of 2023?
So trends we have noticed, and a lot of people talking about is like hotspotting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very popular now.
It's all still very open plan.
Yes, absolutely. Lots of pods.
Mm-hmm.
People talking about pods,
Break-off areas.
But often in those places, like you're saying, very open plan now. They'll have a communal kitchen.
Yeah.
Which, used to be off to the tea room.
That's right.
Now it's
Or the tea lady came around with the trolley.
Oh, really? In your day? Not in mine, sorry. But it's all of that. But I think now officers, owners and, your boss are thinking about more, sustainability. So the ergonomics of pieces of furniture that they buy.
The longevity,
durability. And, even with pods, things that they can take with them.
Yeah, that's right.
So, often you'll see a workspace built within a workspace. And so that can be taken if the office was ever to move with them when they go.
Yes. What about, I've noticed in offices the colours. There's a lot of bright colours on walls now in the furniture.
Yeah.
I guess it just makes it light and bright, gives a good energy.
Yeah.
You'll see bright greens, you'll see salmon, you'll see burnt orange. It's quite different to your traditional gloomy white walls.
White and grey and black.
And your carpet squares,
Yeah.
There's still obviously commercial carpets, but again, they might be bright.
Absolutely. And, I have noticed a lot of companies will, have their colours. And so, a lot of
their branding.
Yeah, their branding, a lot of the branding is reflected in what is actually in the office space.
Yes, very true. Also, I went to an office recently, and I think this is quite commonplace now, but on the ground level or the area where you ride your bike in or drive your car in, there's facilities for storage of your bikes. You can then walk into another room on that level. You've got storage, you've got your own locker or a shelf, and you can have a shower.
Yeah.
You can lounge around that area for a little while. There's seating. In the female area, there's literally a makeup bar.
Oh, awesome.
So it's, it's an area with a beautiful bench top, lovely seating, lit up mirror. So,
flexibility.
You could have a shower, dry your hair, put your makeup on and go upstairs to work. It makes you feel good, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially riding a bike to work. You might have gone a long distance. You might be feeling pretty awful, especially if it's raining, I guess. So all that sort of makes it a nice environment to work in, doesn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. And in saying that, I've noticed, in office spaces, a lot of people aren't actually having offices as such because it is an open plan area. So therefore, natural light, which is part of our well-being.
And that's what I was going to say. This all reflects.
Yeah,
it's all catered
well-being,
for wellness.
Yeah,
which is literally a trend.
Yeah, and wellness, often delivers productivity.
That's right. Yes, definitely. So, look, we could really say wellness and wellbeing in spaces we love are important to current trends and design styles.
I agree with that, Chrissy.
Do you want to go back to talk about colour?
Yeah, sure. So do you think it's as a result of the pandemic?
Definitely.
I
think we're looking for calmer colours, richer colours, like greens and blues and earthy shades of pink and clay. Just again for that balance.
Yes, so forecasting of colours, what you've just said, greens, blues, soft earthy shades of, clays and pinks.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely on trend, but I feel like that is definitely because of the pandemic.
100%
really
agree.
Part of it. I shouldn't say it definitely is. I think it's how people are wanting to live.
Well, it's a mood, isn't it?
It's a mood, yeah, because people are working from home and people are working in the office, but they're picking and choosing where they are, and their well-being is important. So as a result, I feel like the colours have reflected this.
I agree. Also, kitchen cabinetry colours. We're seeing a massive shift from grey and white.
Thank goodness. Laundries and bathrooms as well.
That's right, of course. Any sort of cabinetry really, but definitely in kitchens, it's sort of moving towards greens and navy blue finishes, which are fresh but also calming.
Yeah. So this is probably, a trend, but in saying that it's been around,
Yes.
we certainly have always encouraged colour, but I feel like it's done more now.
Yes.
It's almost more acceptable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, people are still doing their grey and white kitchens and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No.
I mean, it's a personal choice, isn't it? But we are noticing more colourful kitchens.
Yeah. And accent colours,
Accent.
etc.
Yeah, that's right. What about lighting?
Yes, well, lighting has, and we've talked about this before in our podcasts. It definitely is something that is looked at, and it's definitely something that people address more now.
It's sort of gone from functionality, which is still very important, to ambience.
I'd agree with that.
It's how you feel. It's a mood.
Yeah, so we've really found that, instead of a house that's drawn up from an architect or a builder or even, what we come up with in our plans, instead of just having the lighting plan with ... where all the downlights are going to be, they've accommodated things like wall sconces, they've accommodated hanging pendants.
Layers of lighting.
Exactly. And in that, they've also accommodated things like a skylight. So that's become a lot more on trend now.
Yes.
So in talking about lighting, though, I'm so pleased that we've got to this now, because sometimes I feel like in the interiors that we do, the whole hero of a room could be a hanging pendant.
Or a wall sconce in a bathroom.
Exactly.
Literally.
It really is. And I feel like that often was overlooked in the past, and people would say, oh, gosh, it's your rug or your piece of art or your sofa or your dining table. But now I feel like people are definitely looking to lighting as something that is on trend but also a hero piece.
It is, and people, especially clients, are understanding this and loving the hero piece.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that there's dimmers on everything now.
I agree with you. Thank goodness. It's probably good for us, our complexion, but or maybe good for me, not
maybe
for you.
yours. No,
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
I just think there's too many houses still that have harsh, just insanely bright houses with 20 million downlights in the one room, and I think people are beginning to realise that they just don't need that many downlights, which is better for the environment, by the way, too, to
Absolutely.
not have so many. And there are 3 different settings on downlights now, just standard downlights, which, I mean, I don't know how long that's been around for, but it seems to be quite new.
It is, absolutely. And they also I've noticed that even in the globes, like buying a warmer, a cooler,
yes,
all lumens have changed.
That's right. And people are understanding that better. Like, you need task lighting over your kitchen island. You're probably needing task lighting in your laundry too. You don't need it in your lounge room as much, do you?
That's right. So then talking about lounge rooms, sitting rooms, bedrooms, having beautiful lamps and that the ambience of that is just it's so beautiful.
Yes.
And it gives you that feeling like we were talking about before, like going around the house and turning on lamps, at 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Instead of a bright light that you turn on, it's like lit up like a Christmas tree or lit up like
that's it.
Airport.
Yeah.
It's just helping the environment, but it's that whole feel.
The mood.
The mood.
Yeah, I totally agree. We cannot overlook furniture in trends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we need to talk about the curve trend, or the organic shapes in furniture and materials right now. For instance, curved sofas. There are curved benches, benches in kitchens especially. Arches. Everything is rounded, curved, or an irregular organic shape. Well, that's what I think. If you can put a curve on it, let it be done.
Good one, Chrissy. Yeah, another style that is trending is mixing the old with the new.
Yes.
A lot of our vintage pieces would have had a curve on it, Chrissy, more so than hard-edged I suppose I could say industrial pieces often are hard edged.
Yeah.
But still, that they often, I don't know, just had a softness about them. But it's nice that now people are recognising, to have the old with the new. Repurposing.
Do you think there's less sort of mass-produced buying now?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, so definitely because we're so much more aware of sustainability.
Yes.
We're looking at pieces for longevity.
Yes, I think so.
And as you talked about before, that we went to a green talk last night and it was brilliant, and it was fantastic to hear how a kitchen or a bathroom or cabinetry is made for longevity now. So talking about trees that have been cut down,
yes,
and then turned into timber veneers, and then with the wastage or the offcuts, what gets done with those bits and pieces, and they're taken back and then they're redone again so that they can be made into more timber veneers, and also having putting them on a kitchen, for example, and wanting to have that there for a longer period of time. It's less mass production.
Yes.
And less wastage.
Less going to landfill.
And less going to landfill, exactly.
I think that's the way we're going. And you think about the furniture we've repurposed. We might have had an old chest of drawers that is sentimental to a client, so we'll paint it.
Yep.
We'll repaint it. We did one recently, this gorgeous sort of smoky grey colour, and then we put these fantastic sort of vintage handles on it, and it just was like a brand new piece of furniture, and it became a statement piece.
Absolutely. And also I've noticed a lot of people wanting to redo armchairs.
Yes.
Armchairs and sofas. That's what we've found a lot.
Because they're still working well. They're still comfortable, right for that person.
I agree. And often when, the upholsterer takes a look at, the actual piece when they've taken it back, taken the fabric off and looking at how it's made, they're often the pieces that are made so beautifully, not nailed or glued, but, the dovetailing in them,
yes,
and the actual workmanship, that the artisan has used is often superior to what is being made now in mass production.
Yeah, they're lifetime pieces.
They are.
They're generational pieces.
Exactly. And you honestly are better off getting those pieces redone, rewebbed, resprung, whatever it may be, and bringing it back to life with new inserts, new back cushions, and beautiful new fabric. And yeah, I think that's the way that people are looking at bringing the old into the new. I think it's definitely a new trend that we're seeing coming through.
I would agree.
Not that we've ever stopped that trend, because it's certainly something that we've always considered. Yeah.
Talking about finishes, you could definitely say people are moving away from certain materials and making more of a statement with stone, timbers, powder coating, gold finishes. Well, in fact, gold never goes out of fashion, does it? We've noticed also kitchen splashbacks are finished the same as the countertop slab. So, for instance, you'll have your stone bench top and then it'll be wrapped up the wall for a splashback. So less grout.
Yes.
It's a cleaner look. That's a massive trend, I think. Flooring finishes, there's a lot of concrete, timber, but basically what I've noticed is there's a lot less grout going on.
Yeah.
Especially in kitchens and laundries.
I agree with you. Mind you, we don't mind putting a lot of grout into laundries and kitchens and bathrooms.
No, we don't.
Beautiful tiles that we select.
Of course.
Which are often small.
But that was just a trend that I've noticed.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, Chrissy, we couldn't finish a podcast without a myth, hey? Are trends fads?
Trends come and go, but style is eternal.
Good one. I like that
well,
very
it's true.
much.
It's true.
Yeah, I agree with you. No, it's gorgeous. Well, we've come to the end of this podcast, but we want to say to everybody, thank you so much for receiving our podcasts over the last couple of months so well, and the feedback that you've given us has just been overwhelming, and we're really touched, and we just feel thrilled that you're getting as much out of this as we're getting out of it.
And we'd love your feedback, so don't hesitate to contact us with your views, and we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. Till next time, in your ears.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you'd like to get in touch, email us on thedesignduet@gmail.com or DM us on our Instagram page, The Design Duet.